Hello and welcome back to the Jay's Fifth Down podcast. I'm your host Jade. I'm here today with Coach Luke Coleman. He's the head football coach at Brevard High School. Coach, thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, Coach, talk about your coaching journey and how you got to Brevard, where you are right now, and some of the stops you made, because you made a couple of different stops, some different schools. So, talk about that journey for you.
Oh, Lord, it's a long journey. Let's say I spent some time in Georgia. Um, I have to think about it for a minute. Been around a little bit, but I spent 9 years at Sequoia with Coach Teeter, and then I went up to Hart County with Coach Gillespie for a little while, learned some offensive stuff. He was very helpful with that. I think my journey, learning from everybody, from the start of my career to where I'm at now has really, you never stop learning in this business. I was talking to some guys about that this past weekend. I've got a couple of kids who played for me. One of them's now the strength coach at Lumpkin County. He's very good. He played back in 2009 when I was at North Forsyth. And, I was telling those guys I learned stuff from him now that I called him and asked him about a couple of things, a few weeks ago. So I don't think you ever stop learning in this business. It's always fun to get out and talk to coaches and talk to some guys I've known for a really long time. And, that journey's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So how did you get into coaching? What made you want to become a football coach?
Been around the game my whole life, once you can't play it anymore, I guess it's just kind of something, my old head coach from high school, who was my defensive coordinator at the time, Coach Presley, offered me a job, kind of volunteer coaching, and just became what I loved, and it's became what I've done. And now it's probably an obsession more than anything. You're always chasing winning. Talk to the kids about that all the time. If they told you was going to win every game, you probably wouldn't do it anymore. So, it's just an obsession of mine to be able to chase it and try to get better every week and try to perfect my craft and help these young men become men through a game that I think can really help them do that. So.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Football is one of those sports where, you learn brotherhood, you learn how to, because it's tough, and you learn how to work with other people, and that you probably don't like, but they're your teammates. You got to, so it's like, and that camaraderie, So yeah. So Coach, talk about, just a little bit how you like to run your teams, and offensively, defensively, what are your philosophies on the field, and how you want your, when teams play you guys, like where are they going to see when they play you?
I think number one, and I told somebody, culture is the biggest thing for me. When I talk to the guys, and we have these talks every Wednesday, we call them culture talks, whatever you want to call them. For me, I want to be the most physical team on the field, and I want to, I always tell the kids I want to physically and mentally break our opponents. That's our mentality when we walk out there. That's how we play the game. That's how I like the game to be played. Defensively, we're in a, I guess scheme-wise, we're an attack 4-3. We play 4-3 robber coverage, and, our first goal is to stop the run. And then once we get to, that, then we want to, do some multiple things in the pass game if we can get you into down and distances we like. Offensively, we're pro style, so, we want to run the football and then play action off of that. That's what we do, and that's who we are. And we're going to come out and we're going to hit you in the mouth both sides of the ball. And then, special teams, we're going to be, short up there and make sure we're attacking on special teams as well. So if you looked at their lockers, it says all gas, no brakes, and that's how we want to play the game. So
yeah, that's and physical, right? So what would you say, Coach, is like the biggest challenge of being a head football coach in today's world, 2024, with all that's going on? You got recruiting with the NIL now coming thing in college football, and how that's trickling down to high school and with kids and social media. So talk about what do you think is the biggest challenge being a head coach now?
It's changed a lot over the years. I think social media does play a big part. I talk to kids about that all the time. You can't live your life through other people. Be yourself. Recruiting and that kind of stuff, I get it. It's very hard. Like, in this state, they can go to a private school and reclass and be a fifth-year senior in the state of North Carolina. So that's something a coach can't compete with, an extra year of eligibility. I think at the end of the day, you got to create a family atmosphere with your kids and where they want to be here. I mean, we have a lot of kids in the program here for the size of school we are, and I take pride in that, and I take pride in kids not quitting or leaving, because they're a part of a family. No matter how much they get to play, they're still a part of this team and they're a part of this family, and that's very important to me. The difficult thing, I think it's always going to be difficult with social media and with the transfer portal, and I can see where college coaches get kind of disgusted with that because it's hard to build a team. And I think team's very important. And I think some of that in college football, they've lost that part. And I think it's really, really sad that it's become all about me. I mean, just to say, for lack of a better term, and tell it up front, it's, how much playing time I'm going to get, how much money am I going to get? I mean, really, what happened to teams? So for me, it's still about the team and about being a family. And that's what I'm going to preach. And they don't, if they don't like it and want to transfer, they will. I mean, I can't, there's nothing I can do to control that. So,
No, yeah, you said it. Team is always first. That's how successful programs have been run, where the guys are like, "Hey, we're going to do our job." Everybody does their job, and they make plays for the team, not just for themselves, for the team. Look at Patriots, how they've won all those years, and even in college, like Alabama, how they won all those years. So just everybody doing what they're supposed to do. So yeah, so Coach, sum up the past season for you guys there. Just how it went for you, and what were some things that you like, what you saw out of your players this year.
yeah, every year, every team's different. And I always preach that to the kids. Last year's team, we started 0-2. The first game, I think we had 4 turnovers. You ain't going to win a lot of games with 4 turnovers. We played a really, really tough team second week. Another person asked me how we were able to start 0-2 in today's world with today's kids and win 10 straight. We won 10 straight games after that and went to the third round of the playoffs, won the region, conference, all that stuff. And that's just a testament to the kids and their buy into the culture and believing that, I personally like a tougher non-conference schedule just to face teams that we may face in the playoffs to kind of see where we're at earlier in the year and what we need to work on and what we need to fix. I think it did pay off. Was it hard? After we lost that first game, because it was a pretty big game, I think it was hard for the kids to kind of, refocus because you worked so long for that first game, and it's hard to get kids to understand you don't have to win or lose that game to get where you need to be. And the biggest help for last year was that team overcoming that. So future teams, they can kind of say, hey, if we lose that game, it's not the end of the world. And don't get me wrong, I don't lose any more than they do, but it's not the end of the world. You just continue to get better every week. And that's what, 1% better every day. We talk about every day we go in the weight room. Right now in the off season, we're chasing winning right now. And, I talked to the kids about that last week. I did a little analytics. I think it was 95.4% of the time that they spend here, they're chasing winning. And you're only getting, if you figure a game's 2.5 hours, you're guaranteed 10 games a season. That's 25 hours. It's about 450 hours of preparation to 25 hours of live game time. So you got to enjoy the chasing part more really than you enjoy playing, because that's where you're spending most of your time.
No, I agree. And it's not easy because I mean, and as a former player, I can say this, and as you as a coach, you can say this as well. It's like we nobody likes practice, coach. Nobody likes practice. We want to get to Friday night. We just want to skip the Friday night. We don't want to go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like no, like I was like that as a player. But practice is important. Preparation is important because if we practice, then we'll be ready for Friday night. So yeah, it's nobody likes
It,
practice though.
it is tough, but I think it's how you practice and how you get your kids to buy into practice and how long you practice and the pace of practice and, all those things. 7 years ago, I told you I'd never ever be music wise at a practice, and now we have music every day. It's part of that. You have to be able to adapt. I think everybody has to be able to adapt, somewhat to today's kids. And that's part of it. But at the same time, you want to keep some of your beliefs intact. And, I kind of gave into the music thing, and now I kind of like it. And one day I think something happened and it quit, and it was so quiet out there. It was kind of funny. They were laughing at me because I just wasn't used to it. You get used to that background noise and those type of things. So yeah, I think you have to adjust, and I think you have to. For me, I think practice. I like a certain pace out there, and these young men know that. But if we keep that pace, we're in and out quick, and they're ready to play on Friday because they're fresh and their legs run.
Yeah, yeah. Quick in and out practice, get what you got, get done, get out. Yeah, good stuff, Coach. Yeah. So talk about you guys this off season like right now. What are you guys doing to prepare for the 2024 season and going into spring practice, everything? Like, what are you guys getting ready to do right now?
I do things in I tell them phases. Like right now, start January phase 1, whatever. We're in the weight room 4 days a week. On Wednesdays, we have our culture talks, and I actually let them go to the gym or go outside and play, whatever. And up here in North Carolina, it stays pretty chilly, so most of the time it's the gym right now. You know, when we get back from spring break, we go 3 days in the weight room and 2 days outside on the field and start doing that kind of stuff, preparing. I'm very fortunate here, all my kids are in football classes. So second and third block's nothing but football players. So we're able to go outside and do some things, train and speed training, those type of things. And we actually do some, football related drills while we're out there, during class, all by it be running routes, whatever we're doing. I try to do that in phases. I really don't talk to them a lot about football before spring break because I could wear them out with plays and film and things like that. So I try to leave them alone with that part of it. And we just focus on what we need to focus on right now, which is strength and agility and, plyometrics and those type of things.
Yeah. Coach, talk about your most funniest memory as being a head coach. Like, what's the most funniest thing that's happened to you over your time coaching, and that thing that just you will never forget? It was just so crazy.
That could be a lot of things. I don't, Lord,
One.
I could sit here. I don't, funniest things that ever happened to me. I don't really know, man. That's a hard question. I've never really been much of a laugher on Friday night, I guess you could say, but I've seen some crazy stuff from some kids. So, I really don't have an answer for you. I'd have to think about that. You should ask me that question to think about for a long time. Been through a lot of great memories out there on Friday night. So,
not one, just not one
funny.
incident.
I mean, kids do some funny stuff. The funniest things for me are always when they're laying out there acting like they're dying, hurt, and you got there like, what's wrong? Oh, my ankle turned. I'll be good in a minute. Well, dude, you're laying here like you're dying. I guess that's the funniest thing to me sometimes. Like, get to the sideline.
That is.
I don't really. Other than that, I mean, the referees make me laugh sometimes because they don't know the rules. I guess things like that. But as far as, kids are always funny. You always got personalities out there that'll sometimes they just say crazy things like, but I guess the funniest thing for me sometimes, I guess, when they don't understand the situation in the game and I feel like I didn't prepare them enough. So, I'll just laugh like, did you know it's 3rd and 1? No, coach. Can you look over there? I don't, those type of things. But no, sometimes, man, you still got to remember they're 16-year-old kids and, sometimes they're just not, you got to prepare them for everything. So I don't know. That's a tough question, man. I've been through some funny stuff in my life. But last year, the funniest thing that happened, I guess, was we were at a game and the referee told me they had 1 timeout. So we kneeled on it. And then the next referee told me they still had 2 timeouts. So I'm like, wait a minute. So I looked like the idiot. And they were actually laughing at me after the game. Like, coach, why were we kneeling on it when they had 2 timeouts? I'm like, well, this guy told me they had 1. So they got a kick out of that with me, but I didn't find it funny.
Oh,
but
well,
they laughed about that.
Not.
So
right.
We ended up winning the game, but they ended up getting the ball back and getting a couple of, throws down the field. And I was mad, but the kids found that funny. So there's your funny story. I look like an idiot, but I don't. So.
Hey, well, and listen, because I get it. Timeouts are something that is not. It's very important. So I get that. Yeah, coach. Yeah, I think that'll pretty much wrap us up here for the show, coach. I just appreciate you coming on real quick, talking some ball with us, and just sharing how you run things up there at Brevard, and and how you do things there. So, like, yeah, I wish the best of luck to you guys this upcoming season, you and your players, and hope you guys do well. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too, Coach. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.